Lovely. Thanks for joining me this evening. Watch yourself on the blades, okay? Let me take this one out of your way. So today's video is about tangs. Full tang versus non-full tang. In this case, rat tail tang. So there's various ways that a non-full tang might be manufactured. I'm going to just talk about the collaboration blade between BMC and MY Parang in this lading killat. So what is a tang? Well, a tang is basically the part of the blade which extends into the handle, or the handle is fixed onto the blade. So here we have a full tang. With a full tang blade you would get a handle scale material, in this case micarta with G10 liners, and you would then fix the scales onto the tang. You have a very strong setup. So this is the purest form of having a blade and handle combination. It offers super strength and long life. Those are the primary benefits of a full tang. So you have long life because from all of the cuts, chops, slices, slashes that you're doing, you have the integral strength of the blade is carried through the handle. Let's say you were to get stuck into a gnarly piece of English apple wood. If you were to hit a knot, you put different forces through the blade, through the handle, it can take it better than a rat tail tang. And for that reason, it's likely to last a lot longer. If after several years of use, somehow you were to destroy or wanted to change the handle scales, all you need to do is unbolt them. They're bolted on with a little bit of Loctite. Some blade makers, they like to use adhesive to actually lock the scales on, but even in that case you can get them off and you could replace them. From that point of view, long life is best achieved with a full tang. The secondary advantage is that a full tang blade looks quality because it is quality. You can see the strength in the whole blade. You have a little bit more feel for what you're cutting because you're literally feeling everything coming through the steel and into your hand in the same piece of steel, if that makes sense. It also not only looks good because you can tell it's quality. Having scales with, in this case, high contrast popping red G10 liners just looks really cool. Full tang blade is how I usually will design all of the blades for BMC. Now, in contrast with this rat tail tang blade, the advantage is that you take much more weight out of the handle than a full tang. I will design all of our full tang blades, all of them so far have skeletonized full tangs. So that is removing as much, let's say, dead weight from the handle as possible while still retaining a lot of strength in the steel. That's a compromise that I've designed into having a full tang, which is usually the disadvantage, which is the extra weight in the handle, which is not normally where it's needed. Now, with a smaller knife, the balance point you want to be maybe just in front of the handle generally, but with a larger blade like a machete, a galok, a lading, which is a type of parang, you're going to be doing a lot of slicing, you're going to be doing some wood processing, chopping, so you want it to be forward weighted. So the balance point on a blade like this is right there, so just where the ricasso meets the cutting edge, and that's great. So what you're doing is you're getting an overall package blade. Watch out, cat. You got to be careful of that tail, sir. The weight of the blade can be overall reduced, which means you don't need to compensate for having weight in the handle by having an overly long or increased weight in the blade. Okay, so you can get away with a smaller package with the same amount of power. That's it, that's the advantage. Keeping the weight out front where you want it, and it makes it a very lively and very easily manageable blade. Great for those people that appreciate lightness in their blade. Now that does bring some drawbacks. If you can imagine you're processing something like, you know, very tough English apple wood, day in, day out, you're going to see the point where the blade and the handle are married together. In this case, it's pinned beneath this very handsome black collar, and there's also a copious amount of adhesive used to bond the wood to the steel. Now that over time, over lots of heavy use, that could come loose. And for a small factory that's producing these on a production scale, that's not too bad. You know, you can always put them in, replace the handles. But for you and me as a user, it might be a bit more tricky to effectively change the handle. Whereas obviously on a full tang, you can bolt something onto a full tang, and you could use a belt sander yourself, a Dremel, you could shape it yourself, or you could talk to the manufacturer and get replacements sent out easily, which all you would need in this case is a 2.5mm hex bolt, and within, you know, 2 minutes you've got a new handle on there. Whereas this one, the rat tail, is going to need some adhesive, it might need some drilling, sanding, filing, hammering, and you might not ever get a perfectly straight and aligned handle and blade combination. So longevity is the downfall of a rat tail tang. There's no getting away from that. But again, if you're not using the blade day in, day out, or if you're using it only for light clearance work, you're not going to see that as an issue. It should last you for as long as you need it. And also, because of the manufacturing process, because of the tolerances, because you are, at the end of the day, pinning it and using a lot of adhesive, it's a lot quicker to produce, so it's a lot more affordable. And there's our evening train on its way to London. Hello there. That in a nutshell is the difference between a rat tail tang blade and full tang. To summarize, lasts longer, looks better, a little bit more weighty, but more robust and looks nice. Higher quality, a bit more expensive to produce, easier to modify or change the handle scales. Rat tail, very light in the handle, won't last quite as long. Guys, what do you think? Have I covered most of the pertinent points on tangs, or have I missed some glaringly obvious pro or con for either one? Please let me know in the comments. Which one do you prefer? Which would you take over the other? Or do you not really mind? I would be genuinely interested to know your thoughts. So thanks for watching, and yeah, look forward to seeing your comments below. Cheers, guys. My fire's still going, isn't it? Yeah, excellent. Cup of tea in the evening. Beautiful.